2 chairs, 1 room, but a lifetime between. Same dirt on our shoes, different paths we seen. Louisiana nights, Alabama breeze.
Disclaimer: this broadcast is intended for commentary, discussion, and entertainment purposes only. All topics and statements are based on publicly available information, including news reports, social media content, and third-party sources, which may include allegations or unverified claims. The views expressed are opinions and should not be interpreted as confirmed facts. This content is not intended to harm, defame, misrepresent any individual, organization, or entity. Viewer discretion is advised.
Ooh, breaking news. Yeah, we back outside. Raining souls. Same soil, different roots. This wasn't on the schedule, but truth don't wait for airtime. Bonus news. Bonus news. Yeah. Bonus news. Bonus news. We interrupt the program, bring on one side. Souls asking where you stand. One wing came down, but the fight ain't through. New judge in the seat. Now what comes next? To same soil, different roots. Let the facts breathe. Past the celebration, what do we really see? Headlines hit fast, but the truth moves slow. Bonus news. Yeah, there's still more we gotta know. Gavel hit, courtroom shift, everybody watching. One decision made, now the questions keep knocking. Victory today don't mean justice complete. Changing who's on the bench ain't the end of the street. Everybody celebrating, hands in the sky. But souls want the facts, brain asking why. What's the next motion? What's the next phase? Who controls the narrative over the coming days? We don't crown heroes just because the crowd cheers. We don't call it justice till the picture gets clear. No middle ground when accountability calls. One brick move, but we still building the wall. Bonus news. We interrupt the program, rain on one side. Souls asking where you stand. One wing came down, but the fight ain't through. New judge in the seat. Now what comes next? To same soil, different roots. Let the facts breathe. Past the celebration, what do we really see? Headlines hit fast, but the truth moves slow. Bonus news. Yeah, there's still more we gotta know. Two perspectives, same table, no manufactured beef. We can disagree and still go searching for truth underneath. Bring the roots, souls challenge the frame. Different roads travel, still examining the same. Don't confuse progress with crossing the line. Don't confuse a moment with the end of the climb. Courtroom change, but the process remains. Justice ain't a hashtag, a click or a name. So bring the documents, timelines, facts to the floor. Every answer we get might uncover 3 more. No victory laps, why questions remain. We follow every turn till the truth gets a name. One win doesn't mean justice. A new judge doesn't mean the journey is over. And a breaking headline doesn't tell the whole story. Rain, souls, same soil. Different roots. Different roots. Bonus news. Same soil, different bonus news. Turn the cameras back on if the story keeps moving and the coverage rolls on. Truth over teams, accountability first. Same soil underneath us, even with different roots. One win down, but there's more to pursue. New judge, new chapter, now what would they do? No victory without seeing justice come through. Bonus news, raining souls bringing it to you. Breaking news doesn't stop the conversation, starts the next one. Same soil, different roots. Raining souls.
So tonight we're talking about what the jury never heard about either young man. During Karmelo Anthony's fight for a new trial, his former attorney revealed that the defense had collected information about Austin Metcalf involving school discipline, alleged fighting and bullying, racist messages, and a juvenile graffiti incident. But prosecutors also say there was information about Carmelo that the jury didn't hear, including cell phone evidence, school history, messages, and other alleged prior conduct. And according to the testimony, both sides had an agreement. You keep your character evidence out, and we'll keep yours out. So the jury judged what happened in that tent without hearing the full background of either teenager. Now the question is, was that the fairest way to protect both sides, or did it keep important information, context from the jury? Tonight we're going to look at both sides, what was known, what was kept out, and whether it should matter now. Same soil, different roots. Welcome in, everybody.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing, man? I hope everybody's doing well. We are here a little earlier. We are here a little earlier, but we had to be the first to bring you guys everything that's going on with the Karmelo Anthony case. Want to keep you guys up to breast with the most news that we can possible. There's a lot going on with the Karmelo case, but with that being said, I think it's a lot of things that can be overlooked, and that's why Same Soils, Different Roots is here to bring y'all bonus information and also some background stuff that people aren't going to talk to you about. So today we will be talking about the new judge that was brought upon the Karmelo Anthony case. I know the recusal makes everybody seem excited, but I got some things and some details that's talking about the background of this judge. Secondly, we're going to talk about the bombshells or the news that is now being dropped by the Metcalf about the Metcalf family and also Karmelo through text messages and things of that nature. So y'all tune in. We're going to have a good afternoon. I know y'all used to us saying night. We're going to have a good afternoon going into the night. So we're going to start off with our first segment for you guys. We're going to be going into the recusal victory, but just wait. So here we go.
A major twist in the Karmelo Anthony appeal this morning. The judge who oversaw the original trial was recused Wednesday, and this means now that a new judge will oversee this morning's hearing for a new trial.
So Trevor Sohaki has been following this case closely for months now, but joins us live at the Collin County Courthouse in McKinney. Trevor, we just want to kind of specify here, this does not guarantee that Anthony will get a retrial.
No, it does not, Madison. This new judge could grant Karmelo Anthony's request for a new trial, or he could deny it and send the case to an appeals court. Now, this new judge is retired Kaufman County Judge Michael Chitty. He was appointed after Anthony's attorneys argued the original judge, John Roach Jr., gave an improper public interview 2 days after the trial ended. The South Texas judge yesterday agreed, saying in part, quote, "Would they have a concern about the judge's impartiality based upon those statements under that limited finding? I'm going to grant the recusal that a third party looking in would have that issue."
You're not supposed to comment on cases while the case is still in the trial court. There's still motions that have to be heard before this case can go up on appeal. So it jumped the gun. The fact of the interview was too early.
Supporters of Karmelo Anthony cheered and celebrated together after the recusal was granted. Dallas pastor and candidate for Congress, Reverend Frederick Haynes, helped coordinate one group of supporters for Anthony and the call for retrial.
We are not insensitive to the fact that a life was lost, but we also don't believe that two lives should be lost through injustice.
While prosecutors did not speak after the ruling, in a statement, Anthony's lawyers said in part, quote, "We look forward to Karmelo's opportunity to present on the motion for a new trial tomorrow before what we believe will be a neutral and impartial judge." Anthony has been serving his 35-year sentence in a Central Texas prison for the last 2 months after a jury found him guilty of murdering Austin Metcalf at a Frisco track meet last year. The 19-year-old has maintained he stabbed Metcalf in self-defense. And just like yesterday, there were a group of supporters that are now moving towards the courthouse behind me. You may be able to see some of that motion behind me. They're getting ready to line up right outside the courthouse, and some of them will be in the courtroom today. Now, they are lined up outside there, but the hearing does not start today until 9 a.m. We will have a reporter inside the courtroom and bring you the very latest.
So there you have it there. The recusal was approved. They are getting a new judge. His name is Judge Chitty. That's Chitty. He's actually a retired attorney who's now brought back onto the case. That is normal for retired attorneys to come back and retry cases. So that's a normal thing. With that being said, we're going to play another video because I want everybody to get the details of what this actually looks like before me and Rain gives our thoughts and opinions about this in a little bit more detail. But I want you guys to hear from that same news channel, but they were actually there talking about the appeal, the hearing after day one. Again, these next couple days is them trying to actually get approved for a new trial. Some of the positive things that I do want to pass on, if he is approved for a new trial, he will be able to go back home on bond. Everything goes backwards, guys. So if a new trial comes into play, it's like he never been to trial. So he'll go back home. He'll be able to be with his family, be with his friends. So worst case scenario, that'll still be a positive, regardless what the end result may be. If he's able to do a new trial, he will be able to start from where he started from, which he was out on bond and on home arrest. So something positive to think there. Again, if everybody in the chat, you're welcome to your opinion. Just be respectful. We understand everybody has a thought process on this, but we're just trying to give the facts and give the news. So we're going to play a little bit more here. So here we go.
You are watching After the Hearing, a streaming special we have here on WFA on the Karmelo Anthony appeals. We're going to break down everything that happened today and what's going to be happening in the next couple days. In June, a jury convicted Karmelo Anthony of murder and he was sentenced 35 years in the stabbing death of Austin Metcalf. We have an esteemed panel here. Let's start with Todd Shapiro.
I don't know about esteemed. Okay, I appreciate it.
You're here.
Thank you.
And you know law.
I'm here, I know law, and I'm sweating, so let's do it.
It is warm. Longtime defense attorney.
Yes, sir.
We have crime justice reporter Rebecca Lopez. Let's break the news first.
Yeah.
What happened today?
So today, a visiting judge, or a judge that was appointed by the presiding judge, who is Judge Wheelis here in this area, basically appointed a new judge, Judge Sid Harrell, and he heard arguments from the defense on whether or not Judge Roach, the original judge in this case, should be removed, and he ruled yes, he should, and he removed him off this case.
This hearing lasted only an hour and 20 minutes. Your initial thoughts on the ruling?
Well, I'll be honest, I can't recall sitting in a recusal hearing and intently listening to what's presented. So one of my curiosities as an attorney was, what evidence are they going to present in this hearing? What, besides Roach being called to testify himself in the video, obviously, are there other witnesses? What exhibits? And that was answered in the courtroom. I mean, it was really a succinct, specific, pointed motion, and the was provided was enough to sway this judge and say, yes, Roach needs to be recused.
So Judge Roach is out, right? Let's talk about the rubric that the Judge Sid Harrell used to make that determination.
Right. So it was, I don't want to say confusing, but it was a legal point that he made, basically saying, y'all filed this motion for recusal and listed a number of different reasons. I'm going to rule on your recusal based on one point that was brought up, and that is that reasonable person standard from the outside looking in at the proceeding, whether or not things were done fairly and impartially and can continue to be fair and impartial. And he believed that Judge Roach's comments to a particular reporter here in Dallas on a particular day that is standing a foot from my left, that he asked the questions and the Roach gave answers that kind of tended to show that he's maybe made his mind up on the motion for new trial before it ever even happens. So I do think that a part of it from our judge today was an abundance of caution. The appeals process is a confusing thing as well. What's in front of the court right now was the recusal motion first and now a motion for new trial over the next day or two. That does not include his quote unquote appeal. Okay, so this is not about his appeal. One of the things that this ruling did is take away the possibility of this being a point for appeal, saying that the judge denied our motion to recuse, Roach heard it, denied the motion for new trial, and now we're going to use that in our appeal to say, once again, this is another reason why this case should be overturned.
Well, one of the things that the defense attorneys were also trying to say is that he violated these canons, basically that governs what judges can do. And they felt that maybe he overstepped in what he was doing when he did the interview with Jovan, but also that he was biased. And basically, Judge Harrell said, I did not find that to be true. Correct. He just had a different measure about why he removed him.
Yeah, I understand what Judge Roach was doing. I think he ran an incredible trial. It was efficient. It was fair. There wasn't anything about any rulings of evidence coming in or going out that looked to be problematic. Judge Roach himself did not act in a way that would lend itself to say that he wasn't fair and impartial. It was the interview after the fact that is causing these issues. And the question becomes, if this case was still in his jurisdiction or pending in his court, especially the motion for new trial, which is heard by the trial judge, Why didn't he just wait maybe a few more weeks until that was all settled and then be able to talk? I mean, we all know Judge Roach on his way out. This was his last big trial. But nobody likes to be turned over on appeal, and nobody likes to be the subject of, you did this wrong, even if he is retired. I know he's still going to sit as a visiting judge and things like that. And he's got a perfect record of never being overturned on appeal. So, was it a lapse in judgment on Roach's part to give the interview? I mean, who knows? But at the end of the day, it does not change the fundamental landscape of this case, which is tomorrow and the next day, they've got to prove why they think they deserve a new trial, regardless of who the judge is.
Let's talk about the evidence. Like the majority of the time was us listening to the interview we did. It's a 20-minute interview. And I asked you this question just a few minutes earlier before this, and that was it the act of doing the interview that probably led to this decision? Or
you muted.
I do want to stop in between these segments, and Rain, you can chime in as well. I still don't think everybody has learned how powerful voices are. That's what y'all going to see a pattern of today, this afternoon, of everybody giving their biases and opinions very swiftly. But then I'm going to also show you guys some things, and Rain are going to read some things to you that kind of shows you where things might be heading anyway. Just to give everybody clarification, the retrial has not been accepted yet. The recusal for the new judge has. So there's a new judge that's going to be taking over this case if they go to trial. Now they're doing appeals to try to fight for why they feel a trial is justified. So they're already starting to talk about the case. They're presenting material. Remember now, the prosecutor and defense are both there now again. So they are giving new information over. Penny brought up a good point about what the gentleman said. So he believes he doesn't believe he deserves it. He believes it's just wasn't the perception of bias. So and we all talked about it when me and Rain covered it on Same Soil, Different Route. We said the same thing, like, why would the judge come and talk so soon? Mm-hmm. Like it wasn't even less than 48 hours. He was already doing the interview. So that's what got him pretty much taken off the case. If you guys go listen to all the broadcasts and the notes from the recusal, they didn't take him off because he did a bad trial. They said they only removed him because it would look as biased if they kept him.
Yeah.
So they don't feel like he did a bad job. They only feel like, hey, if we don't take him off this case, the public eye is going to think differently. So what is your thoughts on that, Ray?
Yeah, you have to choose your words wisely before you speak. I know sometimes we flare off and not have our thoughts together, but those words that he said, and I can't remember exactly what they were, bought him this recusal, So I think it needed a new judge as well, and my eyes have been opened today wide on all this new stuff that's coming out. We're gonna get to all that, y'all, coming up. But my thoughts and opinions might, change. Do I still feel that, as I felt all along, that the charge was not justified? Absolutely. I don't think he should have got murder. Do I feel like the sentence was not justified? Absolutely. I don't think 35 years is a bit much. But we'll get into all that, and especially with these new details are coming out. It's lit.
Yeah, so we're gonna play a little bit more. He said, "Yeah, we found both Austin and Hunter." Yeah. We're gonna talk about it.
We're gonna get into it.
Welcome in, flip the script. We're gonna talk about it all. We're gonna talk about both sides. Yeah, we'll get to it.
Or what he said in the interview.
Maybe a combination of both. I think they interpreted the jury got it right comment, or they didn't. What that meant to me was if the jury came to a verdict, that's why they got it right. Whether it was guilty or not guilty, it's none of my business as a judge. But they got it right by listening to the evidence, deliberating the issues, coming to a verdict, deliberating during punishment, and coming to a punishment verdict. So in that sense, the jurors got it right. But I think that was interpreted as, well, that means he thinks that Karmelo was guilty, and he's going to view the motion for new trial in that lens. But to me, that was what argument.
Todd, how unusual, because I've covered trials for a long, long time in courts. I don't recall a judge doing an interview while the appeals process is still going on in his court, and he may rule on it. That's really unusual.
I agree with you. And looking back on it in retrospect, I'm sure he probably feels the same way as maybe I should have done that interview. It's not like he got on there and said anything again that was fundamentally unfair. But given the interview probably was the impetus for the recusal.
Don't you think? I mean, it's a valid argument from the defense.
I do think it's a valid argument. I think Russell did a fantastic job. He's a great lawyer. He was incredibly prepared, extremely articulate. He got to the point, established what their points are for the recusal. And, you know, it was an interesting situation because.
And shout out to Karmelo's new team, man. I've been talking about it a lot, even on our No Middleman when we do bring it up. Great team. He does. He has a good team. I think if he would have had this team the first time, we wouldn't even be going through a lot of this. He would have still been tried. He would have still got some time, but I think it would have been of a lesser charge. But again, he has a good team. Mr. Russell and them, they're a good team. Very, very good team.
You know, the state was there and they got to make an argument. Well, the state doesn't represent Judge Roach. So the state really doesn't have a position other than to say he got a fair trial and we believe in the verdict that the jury reached. Otherwise, we're not here to defend Judge Roach. That's not my job as a prosecutor. So it's almost like they were a little bit of fish out of a water. It was more the defense trying to convince this new judge that Roach needed to be gone.
Collin County DA's office, Bill Werski says, "I don't know why I'm here.
Right.
I'm not here to defend the judge. I like the judge, and I think he did a good job."
Right, exactly. And it just was a awkward two-step, I would say. That it just you don't usually have normally in a court proceeding, you've got opposing parties that are arguing for opposite things. In this case, it was a defense motion, an argument, and the state kind of going, I think the guy got a fair trial, and that was really it.
And he says it's not my job to be here to defend Judge Roach's actions. However, according to Bill, he felt that he did and ran a fair trial.
Right. So, Rebecca, we had the video interview, right? And now we also have Russell Wilson mentioning the public's access to the courtroom and violations of the Sixth Amendment. Can you speak to that argument?
I think that was one of the biggest concerns in the trial when this was all going on the first time, because so many people felt like they got excluded from the courtroom. And while he didn't close the courtroom was open.
So we're going to stop it there. They're pretty much giving their rundown of how they kind of felt about everything that went. Of course, we know the recusal went through, so they do have a new judge on the case. Karmelo has a new team. I will give you guys some updates because I am in the state. They are opening up extra rooms now. They're doing totally different what the first judge did currently for the hearings. So they're allowing 40 seats for like media. You have to get there at a certain time. I think it's by 6 o'clock, and then by 7 o'clock, you have to be in line. They're giving out 40 seats for media, and then they have an overflow room. Today, the overflow room was full with a church. Pastor Hines here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area brought pretty much almost his whole congregation out, and they flooded the overflow room. But I do want you guys to know there's already a little play going around because it takes up to like 48 hours to get approval for like airing of the case. So nobody's going to still be able to see these hearings. That they have to make a decision by Monday. Monday is the last date that the judge can make a decision if they want to go to trial or not. So again, people are out to pay their respects. People are out supporting. The atmosphere is definitely different. But with that being said, they're still kind of doing similar protocols to what the first judge did, like letting a certain amount of people in, but now they just reopened the overflow room. Because again, it's a huge courthouse out there. It's multiple cases going on in the city. So it's not just like that one case taking over the whole building. So just something to think about there. But how do you feel about it so far, Rain, that he has a new judge? Doesn't sound like people are really like jumping to conclusions on certain sides. I still think it's still some bias of what people feel has happened. But what is your thoughts?
I'm thankful that he's getting or will possibly get another chance at a trial to change. I did not agree with the initial charge and the sentence. I think that the gentleman's clause that we talked about on No Middleman, I don't think that should have went down. I wish in my heart of hearts that he would have had the lawyers that he had then or now that he would have had then, so we wouldn't be going through all of this. I feel with it had been a whole year before they went to trial, there should have been more things put out in the forefront. There was too much hidden behind closed doors. For what though? I wish he would have had better counsel in the beginning. Hopefully this is a new page being turned, and we cannot forget though in all of this that a life was lost regardless. So
Yeah.
whether it was intentional or not intentional or however it went down, we seen the tapes and all that, the blurry tapes that you really can't see. I could tell. But at the end of the day, a life was lost, and somebody has to pay. So
Yeah. So, and just to let you guys know, we're gonna give y'all more and more information tonight. Because this afternoon, we're on earlier. I guess it's night for some of y'all. It's just tonight. It's for y'all. But I want y'all to see both sides of the coin too, because sometimes things can be what we called in the military prompt and circumstance, like a dog and pony show in layman's terms. This recusal, getting him off the case, but everybody that got him off the case keeps telling you he did a great job regardless. Like, Souls likes to give you guys the focus points of like what's actually being said, because what's being said is more important than what you're seeing. There's a lot of actions that can take place just to give you hope, but behind the scenes, people are already creating their new result.
Oh yeah.
So we're going to talk about a lot of that tonight. Welcome in, Flip the Script. She said Mark Howard is horrible attorney with the public defender background. It's not that great. Big facts. But I'm going to also give you guys some information about the new judge that they gave you guys. There's a lot behind all of this. She said the idea that they want Black people to guess whether their life is in danger or not. Yeah, we're going to give you some more information. Because we wanted to bring it to you guys. I'm hoping they don't wait last minute until Monday. I think the sooner we get the answer, the better. I'm one of those people, no news is good news, I guess people would say. But in these type of situations, I feel that sometimes holding out is not always the best results. Like in these type of cases, right? Because look how quickly they got the judge out of there.
Yeah.
So everything else should be just as quick. You know what I mean? Time and speed was something we complained about with the Nolan Wells case, right? So we should be having the same sense of urgency for the Karmelo Anthony case. Like, what's taking so long? What's the issue? Those type of things. Lil Penny said, agreed, dog and pony, since they starting with opinions. Yeah, we're going to give you a lot of what people are saying tonight. Welcome in, Fence 1684. He says some kind of constitutional violation had to be violated to get a new trial. Yes, so what they're running on, sir, is the bias concept that it's no way that judge can give him a new trial and not still feel the same way he felt on that interview. Because on that interview, he made a statement saying that he felt they did a great job. Karmelo is a great young man that made a bad mistake. So at that point, he already gave his opinion that he thought it was the right decision. So there's no way somebody going to switch their decision for a new trial. So, and they said that's the only reason. If he never came out with that interview, we would not have a new trial or not have a recusal, because we don't have a new trial yet. Miles said procedure. We have to trust it. Yeah, Miles. But I'm gonna keep the eyes open tonight. I'm gonna show you guys a few things tonight. Penny said define double jeopardy. We'll look it up for you. Appreciate you, big dog. Flip the Strip said this is alarming from Daniel Penny to Nolan Wells. Black people have no defense when their attacker is white. You can claim self-defense and they will get self-defense when they attack. Flip the Strip, I know you're probably new to our channel, but one of the things that I try to articulate, which what Mr. Russell is doing for Karmelo now, he's educating Black people on the legal system and the justice system. Like, he came to our city, he went to Pastor Hines' church, and he held a whole symposium about the laws, how things work when you go to trial. And I think that's where it starts. We have to get more and more education so that we can be ahead of all these things. Like when we heard about that shaking of the hands agreement that the team made and the family agreed with it too, like we were already in trouble. You know what I mean? So, but I definitely respect your opinion, Miss Flip the Strip. I was going to say Soul said, double jeopardy means the government generally cannot prosecute someone twice for the same criminal offense after jeopardy has legally attached and case has ended in a qualifying way. I will tell you. Oh, go ahead, Ray. You muted.
Under the Fifth Amendment, though, it usually protects against being tried again after a conviction for the same offense. So even if he does get a new trial, he won't be charged with murder again.
But he can. There's a lawyer called Fit Lawyer ATL. She's out of Atlanta. She's actually here local. I would definitely encourage you guys to go watch her because she's giving a lot of legal advice. Black lady, very intelligent. She also mentioned, though, he can get a higher charge.
Oh, okay.
He can get a worse sentence, Flip the Strip. She covered that today on her channel. He can get a worse sentence if it goes back to a retrial. Again, as I mentioned earlier, the retrial means they're trying it all over again. He goes back to being on his bond and everything. Like, I will highly encourage you guys to go watch the Fit Lawyer ATL. That's FIT Lawyer ATL. She broke all this down for us. Again, that's what I'm really here to try to do, is just provide knowledge and education, because I think our emotions can be better handled if the she said how he got murdered with the max. Yeah, but they didn't give him the max years. The max is life. He got 35 years. So he could go back to trial and get life. I would say look it up though. She speaks about it. He said so the question is, what is qualifying?
At this current time, that's not been determined if it's qualified.
Yeah, it hasn't been determined at this time, Penny, if it's qualified.
Unless they made a decision yet, but I don't think so.
Yeah, so but again, we're gonna talk through it, guys. Flip the Strip. I hope you stay with us throughout the weeks. We're gonna be very present on this. We're gonna bring updates. We try to bring updates as much as possible on new cases. So we'll keep trying to do that. But I do want to move on to the next topic. We're gonna talk about the new judge. The new judge name is Chitty. Some people say it almost like the SHIT word, but it's Chitty, SHITTY. So I'm going to bring him up. We're going to go over to Class E News, man, who always does great commentary, great information. Yeah. He's another one to go over and watch if you want details. If you want details and facts, great place to go. So we're going to play what he has to say, and then I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about this judge. So here we go.
Has been removed. He's been recused from proceeding on any post-trial hearing when it comes to Karmelo Anthony. Now, Karmelo Anthony's already been sentenced. I misspoke in the last video. I said the only thing left was sentencing. We know that man has been sentenced to 35 years, potentially could serve half of that. I mean, potentially could serve all of it. We'll have to wait and see. So now we're trying to figure out, and we're going to hear what is going to happen with this new trial. Currently, as we speak, and as we're recording this video, his attorney, Russell Wilson, and the entire team is working on presenting why they believe Karmelo Anthony should get a new trial. And the judge that is hearing that is obviously not Judge Roach. And we're going to talk about the judge here who is also looking to retire as well. So check this out. Let's talk about the new judge, and then I'll give you guys some update on what's going on inside the courtroom. We have a new judge assigned, and Amy posted about this over on X. If you guys don't follow Amy on X, make sure you do that to stay up to date on the latest news that we cover here on the channel and beyond. And she says this: Judge John Roach has officially been removed from all further proceedings in the Karmelo Anthony case. Following the recusal hearing, retired Kaufman County Judge Michael B. Chitty has been tapped to preside over Thursday's motion for a new trial hearing. Now, Chitty has spent more than 16 years on the bench in Kaufman County's 422nd District Court prior to his retirement in 2020. Now, the defense team's successful motion to recuse Roach focused on post-verdict televised interview with WFAA, during which he publicly stated that the jury got it right. He should have kept his mouth shut, or at least waited until the court proceedings were done in this case. I don't understand what the benefit of the judge doing that interview was, and several people in the legal community thought it was very strange that he chose to do that. But now, what's going to happen next is the statement became Exhibit A from Judge John Roach in a demonstration of why a reasonable observer might question his ongoing impartiality. Now, attention now shifts to today's hearing, where Judge Chitty will hear formal arguments on whether Karmelo Anthony will be granted a new trial. And according to reports from inside the courtroom, that is actually going on right now. JD Miles has done a great job reporting on this, so make sure you guys show him some support over on X as well. He says a Collin County courtroom is filling up, where a new judge will preside over the hearing to determine whether convicted murderer Karmelo Anthony deserves a new trial. He says, I will be providing instant updates throughout the day, and he gives more information here as well. He says, Karmelo Anthony's attorney, Russell Wilson, is presenting his opening statement. 40 exhibits will be presented. Evidence in motion for a new trial do not include some things that have not been made available. Now, the second claim, he says, is the reliance on the argument that the off the record between the prosecutor and the defense attorney. If you're wondering what that is, that was the handshake agreement about what was going to be said and who was going to testify. Now, Karmelo Anthony didn't have any hearings until jury selection. Judge Roach ran what I call a shadow docket, he says, and it was not public at all. And it began almost instantaneously with the indictment of Karmelo Anthony. Now, what also happened was JD Miles says the defense is suggesting that there was a Waller violation during the murder trial, which is a legal error that happens when a judge closes a courtroom or holds a private hearing without properly protecting the defendant's right to a public trial. Now, I think this is a little bit of a stretch. Take that what you will as someone who's not an attorney, but I think the arguments that they're making are going to be tough to say that they need a new trial, all because not only what the jury's decision was in the end, but the way Judge Roach ran the entire trial. Everything was up to par. Everything was done well. He would protected, I believe, the integrity of the trial almost too much because, dang, we could have at least had the audio, and even Judge Roach himself admitted to that. So again, we'll see and we'll cover and give you guys updates as this trial continues to go on. And we have information about how long the judge has to make a decision. He's going to have until August 24th, which is 4 days away, I believe, before he has to make a decision. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But also, y'all know it wouldn't be a segment about Karmelo Anthony without hearing from Mr. Metcalf. Now, he went back on Fox once we found out that Judge John Roach was recused in this case. And he basically said, listen, this doesn't change anything for me. You know, I still don't have any hatred towards Karmelo Anthony because I understand what was going on in that situation. He said, but it doesn't really change anything. He's guilty. He's going to be in jail. Let's see what he had to say over on Fox.
Dozens of Karmelo supporters, including one man in a full Black Panther uniform. And minutes after the recusal, they broke out in loud cheers.
Austin Metcalf. Austin Metcalf. Justice for Austin Metcalf.
Now all eyes turn to tomorrow, when we could hear brand new facts and testimony that were not previously made public, as Anthony's defense seeks a retrial. Joining me now, Austin's father, Jeff Metcalf, and criminal defense attorney Todd Shapiro, who was also inside that courtroom today. Todd, Jeff, good to see you both. Thank you.
Good to see you again, Will.
Jeff, let's go inside the courtroom. How did you feel today when you heard that Judge Roach had been recused?
It really didn't faze me. It's just another part of the procedure. It's a normal step. It doesn't change the facts of the case. So to me, I don't care which judge presides over the proceedings because it doesn't change the facts.
But why, Todd? Why was Judge Roach recused?
Well, I think,
because he couldn't keep his mouth shut.
The judge that was appointed to hear the motion to recuse felt like the interview itself may have given rise to an air of impropriety. It looks like he had already made a judgment. Judge was not going to be impartial throughout the appeals process. And I think in an abundance of caution, at least in my opinion, that the presiding judge decided Roach should be removed from the proceeding going forward because they didn't want another issue to come up on an appeal.
But based upon that 18-minute interview he gave to local news, wherein he said he thought that the jury got it right. He said that, though, because he said he thought the jury based it upon the facts and the jury was properly selected. It did not sound like he was giving his opinion on the verdict, but rather on the process of the trial. So how does that make an impartial judge?
I can answer that. We saw this in the YSL trial when Judge Glanville was going to be recused. Even with everything we saw Judge Glanville did, the way he treated the defense, with him locking up Brian Steele, with him yelling at the defense, with him clearly, okay, I got to be careful what I say, with him clearly showing that he was partial to one side. Let's be honest, guys. Even with all of that, when Judge Krause came out and gave her decision and said, Judge Glanville, you got to go. She said, listen, I still think Judge Glanville could have had a fair trial. I still think he could have presided over this fairly. But looking at the optics, looking at how this may appear to everyone who's involved in this trial and to the public, to preserve the integrity of the justice system, we're going to say, Judge Glanville, you got to go. I'm sorry. I love you, but it just looks bad. And even with all of that, they just got the judge out of there because it was a bad look. So I think if anything, this is probably Judge Chitty setting an example saying, guys, we got to be careful what we say. We're judges. You can't be out there doing interviews and saying the jury made the right decision. It's just not smart, and we're going to have issues. And obviously, we had issues, which is what Will is pointing to. So let's hear what.
So there you have it. I won't play too much of it because I really don't worry about what the father had to say on this case. I feel like that just makes more and more of a character flaw, which we're going to talk about anyway. But that being said, how do you feel initially about the new judge that they brought up before I get? So Rain doesn't even know what I'm going to be giving y'all today about this new judge. I wanted to make sure I did my research because one thing I stand very solid on is that if you believe a certain group is against you, we have to stop rooting for the small wins. Let me say that again. If y'all believe a certain group is against us, we have to stop cheering and rooting for the small wins. Like, yeah, he got a recusal. That was just one step. That's still not justice if that's what everybody is shooting for. And we have to be very careful with who they're putting in the place of another person. So with that being said, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about Judge Michael Chitty, his background. And he has two notable cases. And a lot of times, shout out to, Nori Clay, she said, but every small win, it counts. But I want you to also understand that sometimes people will dangle a carrot in front of your face and have you out there running and chasing it. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about this gentleman, about the things that came up in his background. And it's not that positive, y'all. I ain't going to lie to you. So it's not that positive. So I'm going to read this to you guys, his background, things of that nature, and then the two notable cases that he did have. But again, it is not something that's like going to bring you like happy thoughts. So let's see here. Let me give y'all the details here. So he's a retired judge. He served in the Kaufman County for nearly 2 decades, where he was a judge for the Texas 422nd District Court before retiring in 2020. Regarding notable or controversial cases, the first significant case that he was involved of was against Eric Williams. It was a former justice of the peace. Chitty resided over the case, and it was earlier a theft case against Williams where he was sentenced to probation. And authorities later concluded that Williams' prosecution and conviction fueled a revenge plot in which the prosecutor, Mark Hess, was murked in January 2013. So there was a person, first of all, that Chitty let out and put on probation, who later went out and murdered other people. And that's what he retired on. But he also had another notable case called, it was the Drake Pedro case. 2019, he presided over a hearing in a widely scrutinized case. A 4-year-old boy who was removed from his home following allegations of medical child abuse. At a hearing, Chitty granted a request to keep Drake in custody of the Child Protective Services and issued a gag order that prevented the boy's parents from speaking publicly about the case. Judge Chitty ruling was described by the state senator, Bob Hall, who attended the hearing. This is the state senator talking about attorney that's sitting behind their desk, hearing as the most egregious display of injustice that he has seen, with Hall saying that CPS had zero evidence that their child case against the family. So there's already character flaws within this new gentleman who's in retirement, who's about to take on this case. He had 2 notable cases. I highly recommend you guys to go read the details. The first one was the Eric Williams case, and the other one was the Drake Pedro case in 2019. When the state senator doesn't believe in somebody that's making outcomes, and then you think about your last case, you let somebody go and they end up taking the life of another person, what is he coming back for? Is he coming back to redeem his name?
Do they not have any other options?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. Karmelo got a better team, but now we got a worse judge. This doesn't play into the hands of Karmelo Anthony, in my opinion. That's my opinion. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's but the script said, "Oh my God, no, it does not surprise me. It's Texas."
I'm telling you.
She said racism is taught.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, racism is taught is learned from the parents. And it said facts, it's all or nothing at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Nora said, but it's small, but every small win counts. And she said exactly. I don't know about that now. I said I didn't know this about the new judge. Tis.
And for everybody who's new here, when it comes to souls, I'm always gonna go do research. Mm-hmm. I'm never taking the word of what news is putting in front of me. I'm never taking the word of I'm just happy that he's getting a new judge. Mm-hmm. None of that. Because if you stand on that racism has something to do with this, how can you trust any of them?
Okay.
I've been asking people that every day. I haven't really got a straight answer. Flip the strip, and I haven't got a straight answer for that. It's like we pick and choose what white people are good. If y'all really feel that way, y'all got to feel like they all that way. So that's why I always tell people I come with facts, not feelings, not emotions, not past history. I treat people where they are, treat them where they from, how they treat me. With that being said, you won't pull the wool over my eyes, though. Because the first thing I thought about, I was like, was there any other judge that could have did this case?
Yeah, because you're coming out of retirement for one. For two, why won't they choose another venue? Why won't they choose, hey, out of the county, the next county over?
He said Patsy or us.
The next county, so it could be unbiased. Same thing I feel about I know we're not here to talk about Nolan Wells. I don't think Jackson County should have anything to do with what's going on. I think it should be outside of the county. That's my thoughts about it. I think it should be another venue outside of Coffee. Is it Coffee? It's called Collin. What is it? What county is it?
Coffin. You're right, Kaufman.
Coffin County. Mm-hmm. Outside of that county, outside of the jurisdiction, whole new. Of course, they're going to get a whole new jury if they do approve, because you don't know what influence this judge or what influence the past judge may have on this judge. They might be talking on the phone. You don't even know that. They could be on the phone right now. Hey, I got to make this decision on Monday. I need your thoughts and opinions on it. What should I do? Well, this is what I found. You don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. You don't. Can you trust them?
And everybody's saying one same thing. Judge Roach ran a great case. Everybody's saying that same word, that he ran a great case. She said, correct.
You don't know. They might be having a drink right afterwards this afternoon.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I was telling her, I understand. Like, I'm not here to deflate the win. I'm glad he got the recusal. But y'all, we have to still pay attention to who they put in there. Sometimes they just give you what they want to give you. You know what I mean? Miles said, do you think this judge would give him probation? Probably not.
Mm-hmm. No.
Man, I want to be optimistic.
Yeah.
But I can't say that, man. I think it's one of those things that now Chitty has to sit there, listen to the same thing. And we're going to give y'all more detail because more going to come out. If he goes back to trial, more is coming out. So we're going to get there in just a second. But If he goes to trial, y'all, it'll be a totally different case because there's new evidence, new leaked text messages. It's getting more muddier. It's not getting better. And I'm going to tell you guys this. Austin's dead. You could say whatever you want about him.
Yeah.
Like, not to be rude, but like, you could talk about the Metcalf family all you want. They lost somebody. The world's not going to really look at it that way. Like, the world's going to look at it like, well, that boy died. What did they got to do with today? You know, tomato type of thing. You know, shout out to Ari. Welcome in. It said it's hard to escape their racial system, their racist system. It is. But Ari, I'm gonna say it. I don't know if this is your first time here. We appreciate you being here. But Souls is all about educating people about the system. Because while we cheering everything on and everybody on the steps with a purple on, and everybody's covering this, people coming from different states, somebody should have been doing a background check on Judge Chitty like I did.
Yeah.
See, we missed the blind spots because we got to win. We ain't won the championship yet. We just won our first playoff game. That's all we did. We got 12 more games to go, but we're celebrating so hard for the first win.
Making that first turn in the marathon. You still can't see the finish line.
Like, this is a marathon. We got to stop cheering. We should be like, that should have happened. Next. He should have got a new judge. Next. Like, what's next? Like, we're starting to be cheerleaders instead of having higher expectations for a system that we say is corrupt. Like, we got to start really looking. Like, we got to start paying attention for real. So, Flip the Strip said their attorney was Mark Howard. He did not change the venue. I can't believe the family did not take the same go money to hire a better lawyer. Flip the Strip, you know, man, we covered it last week, but the family agreed to the big behind the back handshake.
Yeah, they agreed to it.
So she said facts was Austin was a bully and not control himself. I agree with you. That's gonna come. We're gonna talk about it today.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
But Flip the Strip, none of that ain't gonna matter. It ain't gonna matter to the masses. Mm-hmm. Kai will spend the rest of his life. Okay, we appreciate you, Big Grumpy. Man, you grumpy, man. Get in a better mood. Zen said, hey, Souls and Soft Crew. How you doing? I think you were in there last night. So welcome in. Yeah, welcome in. Miles said it's a first down.
Yeah.
We got 90 more yards to go, y'all, to the touchdown end zone. Lil Penny said, you overhyping it. We won a practice game since life back on the table. Yeah. Eric said yes. Flip the Strip said, if I was walking down the street and was attacked by Austin and his brother, I would have shot. I am a licensed gun owner. Would be my right to do so in the state. Why is this different? I agree.
You know, that's a possibility too. An acquittal for self-defense.
I agree. We're gonna cover some stuff in the next segment though, because everything you're saying, Flip the Strip, makes sense. But I think the group is trying to get ahead of it. They're now trying to tarnish character, and that Howard team allowed this to even happen.
Oh yeah.
I think if we would have got everything on the floor in the first trial, and now we're going into a new trial, we know whatever was in the text messages, we know all this stuff, it would have been made for a different trial. We're about to go into a whole new venture. People don't even know the information that they're about to receive on the other end. So y'all going to hear it here first with me and Rain. We're going to cover it with y'all. We're going to start off with the news that actually came out about Karmelo Anthony. They do have his phones. There's been some leaks coming out of text message threads that the former team knew about, but they didn't want people to talk about. So we're going to talk about this and just see how it goes. Eric said it's a good start, but no total victory. I agree.
Because they're in court this morning on Karmelo Anthony on the defense motion to get him a new trial, saying that
And just to let y'all know, I do not agree with Megyn Kelly. They just bring a lot of facts, but Megyn Kelly is definitely against him getting anything. So just listen to the facts that they're bringing up. Don't really pay attention to her rhetoric, okay?
There had been a gentleman's agreement that we
She's a young version of Nancy Grace.
weren't going to do character evidence at this trial, and the prosecution somehow violated that by making some passing reference to like what Austin Metcalf liked to do or what Karmelo Anthony liked to do for fun. It's such a Hail Mary by the defense. But something big happened in court this morning when the prosecutor got up and did not deny that there was a gentleman's agreement to not go to the character place on either the accused, Karmelo Anthony, who stabbed and killed Austin Metcalf at a track meet for absolutely nothing. Austin told him he had to leave Austin's team's tent, and Karmelo Anthony instantly stabbed him. Or Austin Metcalf. They both sides agreed we're not going to do character evidence on either the defendant or the decedent. And the prosecutor got up there and said, we did have such an agreement, but let me tell you what we would have introduced had we gone there. It would have been like, because now the defense is like, we should have been able to do that. If we're going to do that, we could have talked about what a bad person Austin Metcalf was. And he's like, how about Karmelo Anthony, the actual defendant? Here's what I had in my back pocket. He says, first of all, Karmelo Anthony's girlfriend, Valeria, would have testified that she went to school the morning of the stabbing, April 2nd, 2025. And she told school officials that she had broken up with Karmelo Anthony and that he was stalking her. So this had happened that morning. 1 hour later, Austin Metcalf was dead, according to the prosecutor. Clearly painting a picture of this kid, so-called Karmelo Anthony, who was a hothead, who was angry that morning in some level of emotional distress and turmoil already at the time he showed up at the track meet. It's starting to come together, that hair trigger he had. But here's the real headline. So first of all, he texted the girlfriend, I'm low-key on the verge. He texted her the morning of the stabbing. The verge of what? We're not sure exactly. However, the prosecutor says Anthony had a history of violence and that he wanted to stab someone. Quote, there is a text message where he fantasizes about stabbing someone and licking the blood off the blade, he said of Anthony. He was obsessed with starting fights, said the prosecutor, and he was prepared to prove that, revealing Anthony had previously been taken by his parents to a special program at LSU for kids who cannot keep their hands to themselves. Mm-hmm. He went on to say, let's see, there was one other thing suggesting that there was previous aggressive behavior and text messages about a knife in particular. That came out a little bit after. So all of this is deeply disturbing and would not have helped Karmelo Anthony at all, Arthur. So what do you make of it?
Well, first of all, this type of evidence usually only comes out if the defendant's going to testify. You can't, unless it's absolutely relevant. Now, maybe the part about the girlfriend going that day, because that's relevant, right? That's within hours of this happening. That may have come out, but it didn't. And I mean, that's the thing, the difference between a jury and a judge. The judge at this point, you could let it all hang out. And Megyn, I mean, I think Hail Mary is what the term used. I would say a miracle. In other words, they made a passing reference to him being not a nice kid, but they really had a tremendous amount of ammunition. He kills a guy with a knife, and they have text messages of him dreaming of stabbing something with a knife and then licking the blood off his blade. I mean, this case is not going anywhere.
Yes.
And it's a new judge, right? They wanted the judge recused. He wasn't going to be fair and impartial. Good. I'm happy. There's a new judge with a clean slate, and I'm sure this judge is going to be like, okay, I think everything went well at the trial.
Yes, exactly. Because it seems like a no-brainer that, this Karmelo Anthony does not deserve a new trial. This is the new judge. They got rid of the old judge because he gave an interview to the press, Dave, and made all sorts of statements of like, I think my ruling on allowing them to strike those black jurors was correct. I think the jury verdict was correct, and was saying a bunch of stuff that it's very rare that we see a judge give interviews like that. And the defense made the most of it and said, you need to recuse. He didn't recuse. He got bounced off of hearing these motions by an independent judge they brought in to evaluate the motion. And now the judge has been bounced. But the new judge doesn't exactly seem like a softie, Dave. He's lifelong Republican. They don't tend to be softies on the bench. He also was very well respected. When he was on the bench, he only...
Do y'all hear the language that she's using? Chitty is not what we needed on the bench.
Retired in 2020, and he's got some history of actually increasing sentences when they come back around before him. So I'm not sure they're going to like the new judge any more than they like the old judge. What do you make of all this breaking news?
Yeah, be careful what you wish for.
Factor?
Be careful what you wish for. You got the new judge, same as the old judge, right? It's this guy's going to be very tough.
Do y'all see this? Do y'all see this?
I do think it was the right decision to bounce the old judge, because he did give a press interview where he said that he thought the jury got it right with the guilty verdict. Okay, well, the standard is whether it creates a reasonable expectation of bias or an appearance of partiality. And yeah, when you're asking for a new trial, when the judge has already prejudged it, it's good to get a new judge. And that's good for appeal, so they can't keep this going on any longer, because the evidence is overwhelming against Karmelo Anthony. And when they say, well, we had a deal with the prosecutors not to put on evidence about the character of Karmelo Anthony, all this other stuff, and then that's why we didn't put on our client, Karmelo Anthony, because if we had, then the prosecutors say they were going to go after him for character. Well, now we know the real reason why they didn't put Karmelo Anthony on the stand. It wasn't because of a deal with prosecutors.
Yes.
It's because they had some smoking gun evidence about his text.
Rain, you want to let them know what you just put in the chat so they can know what they'll be clicking on?
So that right there is the information for the trial, the official trial transcript from June and July. I think it was in July. So yeah, and it shows all the court orders that they have and everything, all the exhibits, the photos, the audios, everything that you need, that you want to see, evidence-wise, that the court is allowing us to see, the public to see, is on that link right there.
Yeah, and I know you guys are saying it's not on the record. We know it's not on the record. That's why they did the back handshake, but it all should be in that information that she just posted. So again, I will highly encourage everybody to go read or at least take a glance at it. Again, like I told you guys, I'm not a fan of Megyn Kelly, but they are going to give you the information. I always tell people, if you really want to know what's the ingredients, go to the people who are making it. They're making it. They're already creating this new narrative. They're already creating it. And they cheered about the judge that I just told y'all he was horrible. They're already putting him, oh, he's worse. He's known for getting people more years on the sentence. Like, that's not what we needed. That's not what we needed, y'all. We're going to keep a close eye on it, man. We're going to keep a close eye on it. We're going to read some of these chats, and I know Rain also has some information about the Metcalf family side of things. So we're going to go here.
The script said accused. And they also said, where is the proof of that? Penny said, as I always want to call mental stability to character into something when little physical evidence. Flip the script said, I do not like Meg because it's not a record. There's no record of it. Accusation. Penny said, the girlfriend and dreams is hearsay. Ari said, why this didn't come out before now? She sounds like she's already made a judgment.
Yeah.
Flip said, harsh, shady. I like concrete proof. Penny said, Soul's got his ex-Fox newscaster. got this ex-Fox newscaster. Penny said, definitely not a smoking gun. Flip said, Mark Howard backed down on the background out of his own personal bias, thinking something was on these accusations. Superman said, I find the more money and sophistication is concentrated, the easier it is to find the worst of humanity.
That's true. That is true, Superman. We agree today, sir. That is very, very true. That is very, very true, man. We shout out to everybody who's in the chat, man. But just wanted to show that. I wanted to show you guys that hey, all my wrenches, go ahead and get those, certain ones out of there. We appreciate you. But yeah, they are creating a narrative that they want us to run with. So yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be tough. We definitely gonna stay abreast to this whole thing. Okay. Penny, you're right. It is a good old boy judge selection process. But you know what's crazy? Everybody who was cheering yesterday and today about the recusal gonna be 2 weeks late when things don't go the way they want it to go, and then they're gonna be talking about the background of the judge. I'm just trying to get it out in front of y'all so that if something doesn't go the way you want it, we already knew what was going on. Like I'm trying to eliminate trauma. I'm trying to stop it before y'all hit it head on. Like, that's why I say I don't cheer for those, man. I'm happy that the recusal happened, but I'm not happy about the judge that they put in the place of Roach. It just wasn't a good look. I don't know how Mr. Russell looks at it. I would hope he start doing some post interviews, or maybe we'll get some information from him. Again, he's a great lawyer here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And his team is great as well. So hopefully we get to hear something from him for sure. She said they're all connected. Yeah, it's a tether, right? That's what we call it, right? Tether.
Yeah.
Did you want me to bring up this one, or you? Or I think
you can add it. I'm gonna read it too, but you can add it. Yeah.
Is this it? I think this is it. I'm gonna bring it up. Let me see here. Is this
It's
the one
from
you got right here?
The U.S. Sun. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So it first talks about what we just learned about Karmelo. But then on down in the article, it says, meanwhile, Metcalf also has his encounters with law enforcement, according to documents shown in court. Metcalf and his twin brother Hunter received a 12-month probation sentence in connection with a graffiti incident where they expressed racist and anti-Semitic language. The brothers were once caught spray painting graffiti that read "Triple K" and "Kill All Blacks" and "Hail Hitler." Mike Howard, Anthony's trial attorney, testified to that on Thursday, which is today, y'all. He added that when the twins were approached by police, Metcalf told them that he and his brother did some dumb stuff, and we did some vandalism. Metcalf also had a history of using the N-word freely in messages with his friends, Howard said. Records from 2023 showed Metcalf bullied another black student but was not disciplined. A month before he was killed, Metcalf was ordered to stay away from a different black student he was accused of bullying, Howard told the court. Several parents of cheerleaders at Frisco Memorial High School, where the twins attended, said their children were afraid of Hunter and Metcalf. And back in 2018, when the twins were in elementary school, they were hit with assault charges. Elementary school, hit with assault charges for bullying a female student. The background report on Metcalf was more than 20 pages long. During Thursday's hearing, Werski said Anthony was supposed to testify at trial in his defense, but backed out for unknown reasons. So his lawyer now says it would have been the cherry on the top for the prosecution. I don't know why he didn't testify. I wish he had. Yeah. So
there you have it, man. So they both have a pass.
Yeah.
And these things were already known beforehand.
But they did a gentleman handshake.
Yeah, they did that gentleman handshake, and the parents were aware.
Yep.
We covered this already. The parents were aware of this new information that they had at their hand. And that's the first time why Karmelo didn't take the stand, because he didn't want to. But as I mentioned to everybody, I would have took it. I would have felt that my passes don't equal that pass. I might have some discipline problems and went to a program. I mean, who haven't? I went to one for 20 years called the military. Like I mean, at the end of the day, you can look at it however you want to look at it. Supermax said concentration of power legally and social political power within a judgeship. They probably horrible people in general, like maybe 1 out of 10 if you're lucky. I agree with you, Supermac. Supermac, I know you in a little late, but I know you'll catch the rewatch like you always do. I appreciate your support. But I want you to go back and see the news that I already brought up about the judge, man. The judge is not solid at all. It is not a win at all, dog. Aries said twin behavior was not exposed at the trial. It was a cover-up. It wasn't a cover-up, Ariel. They agreed.
Yeah, they agreed to not expose
Like,
it.
it's not a cover-up. They agreed. They both sides, the accuser and the defense, both agreed.
It's a 20-page document.
It's a 20-page document. They agreed upon these things. Penny said, I pray they get him presentable before he go out and not just have him in a jumpsuit and cuffs Yeah, they took they did take the shackles off of him each day. From again, I don't even know her, but I just like her content. If you guys get a chance to go over to the Fit Lawyer ATL, she talks about like his appearance. He's very thin right now, she said, way thinner than he was when he went in. His hair is pretty high again, you know, of course, because they shaved it all off, but it looks like it's growing back. The pictures that they have of him in court was horrible. Like it made him look like he aged like 40 years. I don't think he looked like the art they were presenting. But again, you know, and I do want justice for Karmelo. But I will tell you guys, my justice looks like a lower jail sentence.
Yeah.
It was a bad decision or a bad outcome. With that being said, I hope that they can get the right message, but I just don't feel positive about it. I don't know how you can take a judge that left the stand on a very unpopular note and expect him to come back in and give us what we want. Like you know, like Megan said, he's a Republican, and like they hard on that type of stuff. Like, so I don't know, man. I wish I could speak to Mr. Russell Wilson, man, and be like, hey, there was nobody else we could get. I'm gonna do some research, and I hope y'all do the same. If anybody out there do some research, I don't know if it was other judges available, or do they go to a pool that says who's eligible to be pulled for certain cases or what. But I'm not a fan of this one right here for sure. That's why I got with Rain today. I was like, we gotta cover this because this is not right. Ari said, why would Karmelo parents agree to that? Just asking. Oh, you call, yeah. So the last day of Karmelo's trial, they offered him an opportunity to get on the stand to testify. Karmelo and his team initially said he was only given 10 minutes. Later, court documents stated that he was given more than 10 minutes. It was about 30 minutes to half an hour. The judge has it all documented that he spoke with Karmelo and his parents all together. We covered this as well. And they agreed to not do it because the prosecutor kept telling them, like, hey, if he goes on the stand, we're going to talk about the character. We have to talk about his character. We have to ask him these questions. And he chose not to go that route. And I mentioned it, Rain mentioned it, we all mentioned it on our show, that I think he would have had a better chance.
Mm-hmm.
I think hearing that a group of white kids were racist, using the N-word, spray painting buildings with KK, and I don't know how somebody could overlook that if that was the character reference. Like, not saying that it's going to justify the end result
no.
that resulted in somebody losing their life, but I think it could have made the person look more of a threat. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody has a possible DV background, it's going to look a little different when they find out they beat up somebody and this person finally turned them in. It's just going to look different. I think it would have looked different if he was able to do it. But again, I can't fault families for not being aware of the system, y'all. And that's why I always talk about the system. And some people think I'm wrong, but I always tell people that if we don't educate ourselves about the system, we'll never be able to even operate within the system. There's no way to manipulate something if you don't even know how it works. Mm-hmm. So I'm a big component of that. I'll be covering it later this weekend. 19 Keys talked about that too, with Earn Your Leisure, about us as Black people need to understand that we have to learn all the systems. We must know the systems. We keep saying that it's a system that's against us, but we don't know every in and out of the system. You know what I mean? We don't know the loopholes that they know. Like, they're using them, guys. We're seeing it in real time. We're seeing all these agencies use their loopholes in real time. You know, me and Ray will be covering back on our town hall tomorrow about, you know, the Nolan Wells stuff. You know, there's a lot of people now coming out speaking about the dogs that the parents didn't want to use and the cell phones, and everything's coming out now. And it's like, we have to learn to get ahead of these things, especially when we know that we're already behind the curve.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts, Ray? I'm sorry I got on my soapbox.
I don't know. In the end, my wish
is that he gets another trial and that these charges, of course, he won't be able to be charged for the same charge, but he gets a lesser charge. And I hope that they use all evidence, all background information, all character traits. You know, of course, the information that was given today on Karmelo, I would think doesn't help. But with the information given today on Austin, it to me, and this is my personal opinion, all alleged for content creation purposes, so don't come back at me for it. But to me, it shows a better justification for self-defense. And even if it was self-defense and they still charge him for something like involuntary manslaughter with a lesser sentence, you know, it gives you have that there. So I'm still not understanding why this wasn't used in the beginning, you know. So hopefully Chitty, I was going to call him something else. I had to think about it. Hopefully Chitty does the right thing, gives him a retrial, and is unbiased in all of that. And hopefully he's not having sidebar conversations with dude. So.
What we got to do, guys, is try to be good stewards of information.
Yeah.
I think the best thing, because I'm gonna pray that he does get a retrial. I really do want to see this go back to trial. I really do. I don't think that young man deserves 35 years. I said that multiple times. With that being said, I think we need to be good stewards of information, and we need to come on here and have very adult conversations like we're having this afternoon about how can we better improve what we're currently seeing, what we currently see going on. We just have to learn more and more about what's going on. Shout out to Miles says, after learning more about the new judge, Anthony legal team will have to be better. Yeah. I agree, Miles. I agree. Miles, you got to let me know if Dr. L covers this too. Shout out to Dr. L, y'all. I'm trying to give y'all great positive content. People who don't go crazy, they just giving you straight content. Dr. L is another good one. He gives very unemotional, unbiased content. So that's one of the biggest things. Not trying to pull on people's heartstrings. I just want everybody to be aware of like what's actually going on, because I just feel like, man, a lot of this stuff is them putting wool over our eyes. Like, oh, he got a new judge. Oh, we gave him the worst judge in Texas. Like, okay, do anybody on those steps that are cheering knows what about this guy? Is anybody doing their due diligence to have that discussion? You know what I mean? Superman said, just participating in the discussion seems to be acceptance and culpability. We are desensitized to the horrors of our reality. There becomes an oh well mentality. I wouldn't say that, Superman, because there's a lot of people here in the city, Big Dog, who were once talking about it like we are, and they traveled here to now be a part of it. I'm not gonna even lie to you. I'm gonna try to get down there and be one of those 40 seats if he goes to trial. I am gonna try to take a couple days to go down there. They say you need to be there around 6, so I'll get there around 4 a.m. because I feel like it'll be more people once the trial starts. You can't take any electronics in there, but you can take a notepad and things of that nature. I don't even care if I can just get in the overflow room. I just want to be able to hear it in real time. So just to let you guys know, I will be attempting to do that once he gets his new trial date. I'm going to try to get in there a couple times.
I would hope that they have it. You know, the last judge said no recording. I would hope that at least they let the voice be recorded, because he didn't have anything recorded except for the court reporter. There was no videotapes, nothing at all. So I would hope this time this judge says, hey, yeah, we can have cameras in the court. We're going to record this and document it fully.
But see, that's what I'm trying to tell you, though. So I forgot the man's name. I think it was it was somebody that was a part of Judge Roach's team. that came in and testified today or yesterday during the appeal, and he was stating that it will still take about 48 hours to get approval. So like, even if this thing goes back, like they're gonna have to make sure they do these things correctly, because they use the time schedule for the reason why the judge technically didn't get cameras in there.
Oh, okay.
You see what I mean? So like, again, another loophole.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? Like, the dude testified, was like, well, we tried, but once he decided, you know, that type of thing. So Zen said Karmelo and the victim are tethered also, therefore they both have met their demise that must have a balance. No one wins and there is no death that is in vain. I think you're kind of echoing what Rain's saying. Like, yeah, it's a lose-lose. Both of them, one has lost their innocence and one lost their life.
Definitely.
Because even if Karmelo gets out in the next month or year, the things he has seen since he's been in there is going to be something he's going to have to battle for the rest of his life.
Yes. So the inside is nothing
totally
like
different. Yeah. She said it could be false hope. Got to do research. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
Shout out to Miles. Miles said Dr. Ellis, he's a former police sergeant and now a professor of criminal psychology. Yeah, great content. I guess because me and Miles kind of follow each other, he came up in my algorithm. Great content. I sent the super chat right off the bat. Great content. He said souls on the ground covers. Yeah, I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. That's my word to y'all for sure.
Yeah, I did see this content creator today that has quite a following. I think she's at almost 400,000 subs, and I subbed to her. And as a matter of fact, she said that they got there at like 3:30 in the morning, and there was already a line.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I bet you're talking about it's the black young lady with the hair. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Nick and Night.
Yeah, her. Yeah, she said she got there super early, and I was already in line. So
yeah. I'm gonna be there. I'm just y'all. Soul's gonna get one day in that thing. You know what I mean? I don't care if I gotta stay overnight just to make sure I'm present in the morning. I'm gonna get a day there. So, Superman says, speaking to the frequency with which we see what is morally unacceptable in our societal structure itself and are forced to mentally reconcile with, oh well. I feel you, dog. I feel you. It is. It's almost like a catch-22, man.
Yeah.
Ariel said could be no electronics allowed. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, you're right. He said 3:30 a.m. is crazy but believable. Yeah, it was people staying overnight just to ensure they got a seat. But the blessing now is the overflow room. So the first 40 people actually get a ticket with numbers. And then after that, it's the overflow room. The overflow room holds 150 people. So you're looking at roughly around 200 people can be present for the case. So again, when the trial starts, I'm probably gonna take 2 days and go down there.
How far is it from you?
Probably about 35 minutes, but I'll probably actually get a hotel and just stay. So that all I got to do every morning is get up and walk to the court. But yeah, I'm gonna cover it for sure. I'm gonna get in there for this one. Because I think seeing people nonverbals and stuff and watching their face while trial is going on means a lot more than hearing people come out and telling you about it.
Oh yeah.
Like I would love to be because the fit lawyer ATL, she said she sat behind Jeff Metcalf today. The father, and she said the faces he was making, she said it would have got you fired up.
And the heaviness.
Yeah,
the atmosphere would be heavy.
So, but y'all have my word, man. I'm gonna get in there. My goal would be at least to get in there twice throughout the whole trial, if not more. And what I'll do is bring my phone and go live on the Raw Society Network and my channel and give y'all because they do lunch normally around 1, give like a little quick lunch update, and then me, Rain, will come back at night and give y'all a full rundown of what's going on. But yeah, definitely gonna do that for y'all. But we just wanted to bring y'all a bonus episode tonight, man. We wanted to give y'all some breaking news on this Karmelo Anthony case. We got to do some research on the mother in Memphis too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I don't want to forget about her.
There's so many, unfortunately.
Yes. But do you have anything else before we close it out?
I I have a up and coming channel, y'all, and it's called Range Radar Investigates. The link will be in the chat. Make sure y'all go over there and subscribe. There's going to be this episode on there first. I don't have anything else, but I'm getting it up and running, and I'm basically going to be focusing on, crime, the ins and outs, the evidence, the facts, the everything going on. So y'all come over there and join me over there, and let's crack some of these.
Can you put our Raw Society email in the chat?
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna put our Raw Society Network email in the chat for anybody who wants to send us an email on a topic you want us to cover, something that's going on even in your local area that might need to have more news, more visibility. We'll love to cover it for you guys. We actually have someone that we're gonna be bringing on. Just want to talk about Miss Sophia Lancaster, man. So shout out to her. Yeah, Malachi Lancaster out of Florida. The mother is going to be coming on one of these days, and she's going to be able to tell her story. So we'll give y'all a definitely update and have the video already posted for the time and stuff so y'all can know. She said, subscribed already, Rain. Congrats.
Thank you, Jen.
Yeah. So y'all make sure y'all make y'all way over there to Rain Radar Investigates. That's our email right here, guys, the Raw Society Network at gmail.com. Send anything you want to send. Miles and Penny, I don't know if y'all I sent y'all my contact. So I don't know if y'all were able to get it, but just let me know if y'all got it already. Ari said, thanks, appreciate you guys. I'll be back again. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. Yeah. And Ari, we're normally on pretty late, but we came on early to cover this bonus footage. But we're normally on probably about 8:45, 9 o'clock, rolling into midnight. So you will catch our notifications for sure. Y'all make sure y'all hit that bell so y'all can get the notifications even when you sleep, like our girl did. I forgot her name. She was in the chat last. She said she was strolling in the bed and ran across it. So, but we appreciate you guys, man, for sure. And I'll let Rain close it out, and we'll close out with our new song.
All right, y'all. Y'all know how we do it when we close it out. So tonight we talked about something that this case keep forcing us to confront, and that's what happens when the jury hears only part of the story. There was information about Austin that never came in. There was information about Karmelo that never came in, and now with a new trial decision still pending, people are left asking whether keeping all of that protected fairness of the trial or kept the jury from important context. At the end of the day, none of us should rush to turn allegations into facts or character into guilt. But we should be willing to look at both sides, ask hard questions, and follow the evidence wherever it leads. That's what we do here on Same Soil, Different Roots. If you appreciated the conversation this evening, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to all of our channels, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss the next discussion. And if you're catching this on a rewatch, leave your thoughts down in the comment section. So thanks for spending your evening with us. Until next time, for Same Soil, Different Roots. Good night, y'all.
Ooh, breaking news. Yeah, we back outside. Raining souls. Same soil, different roots. This wasn't on the schedule, but truth don't wait for airtime. Bonus news. Bonus news. Yeah. Bonus news. Bonus news. We interrupt the program, bring on one side. Souls asking where you stand. One wing came down, but the fight ain't through. New judge in the seat. Now what comes next? To same soil, different roots. Let the facts breathe. Past the celebration, what do we really see? Two chairs, one room, but a lifetime between. Same dirt on our shoes, different paths we seen. Louisiana nights, Alabama breeze.